snacks.
What to do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. Sin and Jokes are in the building. How we doing,
sir.
gentlemen?
Yo, good.
Awesome. You are now tuned into Cutscenes, where we get together once a week. We talk about things that are happening in video games because cutscenes are
The best
part of the game.
It's a fact. So listen, lots to cover today. Lots and lots going on. We're going to talk about the Square Enix Presents presentation. The Square Enix Presents presentation.
Right.
PlayStation Play at Home. A lot of good news there. We're going to talk about EA Play making its way to Game Pass PC. Jay Raymond's opening up a new studio. There's a lot happening, y'all. Video games is moving and a booming. Facts. So let's do this. Let's start with Square Enix Presents. Did both of you all have a chance to watch this? What's up, Marcus?
Yes, yep. I did.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna go to you first, Jokes. Overall impressions?
It was okay.
Solid. Sin? Overall impressions?
Ditto.
I feel the same way. I'm gonna go over what was announced, and then we'll kind of go through, what we think about each one of those things. But first up was Outriders, which we got a new trailer for. We talked about Tomb Raider 25th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
They announced a couple of things for mobile. They talked about Avengers and the upgrade for Avengers. They talked about Balan Wonderworld, Life is Strange, True Colors, the new Life is Strange game, and then Project Asia getting a real name from Luminous Productions. That was pretty much the feel. It's about 35, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I guess we can talk about how we feel about all these individual publishers starting to kind of do their own thing, and what our expectations of those things are. As a whole, I don't think it was bad, but it was just okay.
Agree.
Didn't feel like, I guess there was a lot of information. I guess there was just, I don't know if we're getting desensitized to the idea of folks doing their own presentation, like once a quarter, where, I think what we're really used to in the past is when there's something like this going on, it is because something major is happening. And there's some really, really huge announcement that's come along with this, because usually we only get stuff like this either from a major like console owner, so Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo, or it's E3. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And so I think, now with who knows what's really going to happen with E3, I think we might have to get a little bit more used to getting information like this almost at the same time that the regular press gets this kind of information. You know what I mean?
True.
Where we would have to wait for this information to kind of trickle down and be broken down into individual articles or whatever. So look, I mean, not that we have a whole lot left to say about Outriders. What I will say about what they talked about with Outriders is that it did give us a better idea of what to actually expect from the game in terms of.
I do agree with that. Yeah.
You with that?
Yeah.
Was there anything that stood out to you?
It was the whole truck being the convoy thing. Mod your convoy, bring your convoy in with your co-op people and move around. Like, okay, so that's kind of like how we're going to move around the world and stuff like that. And you get to put trophies on it and trick it out the way you want and bring it in so other people can see what you did to it and all that kind of stuff. I didn't expect that. That was, a pleasant thing. Like, all right, cool, I'm down with that. But that was the biggest thing that, like, I took from it. That was like, oh, I didn't know that was coming. Okay, I like it.
Yeah. It says to me that they're really leaning into the multiplayer online aspect of it.
Yes.
That it will allow you to showcase some of your individuality, in a way that's different from, what we had previously seen. I mean, right now you can only play the demo in basically the first chapter.
The desert landscape surprised me as well, because I didn't see none of that till now. I seen jungle, I seen snow, didn't see anything desert. So when they just kind of threw that in there, I was like, oh, okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, got a fully fleshed world here almost. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, listen, I don't know if today's presentation would have excited me enough if I wasn't already thinking about buying it to buy it, but it certainly would be enough to maybe make me go, I should probably try that on Game Pass. I was actually surprised they didn't mention that. I was actually very surprised that wasn't mentioned.
True.
I mean, I understand you're kind of trying to be
Play on both sides of the
fair,
field.
but I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't mention that. Okay. What about you, Jokes? Did you see anything that stood out to you for Outriders? Or
Kind of the exact same thing. Because mostly they try to rehash some of the things and maybe explain a few little different things. Talking about the classes, going through, doing a little explanation of each one of those to you kind of see and feel out which character maybe you want to go with first until you want to switch over for it. But other than that, other than the convoy information, I mean, just pretty straightforward.
okay, I agree. That's about right. Tomb Raider 25th anniversary. Tomb Raider is almost older than you, Jokes.
Almost. No, it's almost as old as I am. I got it by a couple.
That is disturbing.
I mean, other than talking about, the fact that there's a new anime that's coming to Netflix, which I think is cool. They're doing a crossover with Ghost Recon.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was the thing that got me. All the things they're doing with it, like anime, Ghost Recon, Fortnite, like
right.
Final
She just dropped in the Fortnite.
Like,
yeah. And they're like building like her mansion or whatever that you can run. I'm like, y'all really put her everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I knew this. I mean, she's already in Fortnite, but adding Croft Manor, next week is like a separate thing again. Here's the thing: we should be seeing a lot more of this. Like where Square Enix, who didn't originally own Lara Croft, they didn't have them at the time that Tomb Raider was created. Eidos wasn't a property of theirs, so Tomb Raider and Lara Croft wasn't a property of theirs. They putting a lot more effort into this than I feel like Nintendo is putting into the anniversary of Zelda, the anniversary of Mario. Like, it feels like they're not really doing. I guess having some sort of a Mario multiplayer fake Tetris 99 is a thing, but I don't know. Like all in all, it
take it away. Like, hey, this date, do we take it away? Type of deal. Yeah.
It does kind of make me wonder whether or not there was a plan to do something tied in with the opening of Super Mario World. You know what I mean? At Universal and all that kind of stuff that just fell through. But it still feels like they ain't do what they were supposed to.
Very well could be. Very well could be.
What's up, Todd? Marcus, I see. Yeah. That whole Sony Evo thing, we're gonna dig into that in a minute. Well, we'll probably dig into that at the end of the show, because that was probably like the last thing to pop off in news today. Hi, Todd. How are you? Heart's back. So hey, Jokes, did you ever play the first Tomb Raider?
Played it. I couldn't honestly tell you about remembering it, but I played the first three obviously on the original PlayStation, but I was a little youngling, so I don't remember too much.
Max, what are your earliest Tomb Raider memories, Sin?
Fighting a T-Rex.
I don't.
Oh.
That's my earliest memory of Tomb Raider. Just run around in caves and you run into a T-Rex and you're fighting a T-Rex. Like, oh my gosh! And the whole dual pistol thing was so dope and cool at the time, and the whole exploration thing. Like, it was a game changer at the time.
It's the first game I remember playing in some level of surround sound. Like when it came out, I didn't have surround sound. I had fake surround sound. I had speakers.
Okay.
Yeah, fake surround.
I had big speakers. I definitely was getting like feeling that stereo audio. We doing all right. Played the first Tomb Raider on your Sega Saturn with. Yeah, that means you waited because that joint I don't think hit the Saturn until almost a year after it hit PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive.
I'm pretty sure I had that PlayStation one day one when it came out.
Yeah, like let me think. I had a Saturn at Morgan with me. We definitely didn't play no Tomb Raider on that joint. Definitely played Resident Evil on PlayStation in that joint though. Yeah, man, like Tomb Raider, I really want to say that's the first game I remember like that wasn't something that was designed to be scary where I like turn off the lights and turn up the volume to really get like the actual like stereo sound from it, because not like real, like stereo sound, like big speakers pushed way out, you know what I'm saying, to the side. I'm more or less connected to, you call it a stereo system, but it was a boom box. Which you had your joint in Morgan too? Yeah. The Saturn was actually my brother's joint, so I had an SNES there though, for sure. That's where I beat Final Fantasy 2 first time.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I had been at it for a minute. And one day I just decided I'm gonna finish this joint. Also got really, really good at Killer Instinct.
Ultra Combo.
Straight up, bro. They had one in the McKeldin Center too. Arcade machine in there. Used to go in there and punish. Punish, bro. Okay, so Tomb Raider's 25. Good lord. Okay. So they talked a couple mobile joints. Only thing I was really interested in was Hitman Sniper Assassins, which I'm not gonna play because it's mobile, but that was a joint I was interested in.
Yeah, I didn't care about anything.
The joint is kind of cool because it's AR, which I think is kind of dope. I wasn't looking at the screen, but when I heard the music for Bubble Bobble, I was like, oh snap, Bubble Bobble. And I looked at the screen and it was like, oh snap, it's Bubble Bobble. Nobody's gonna care, but okay, it's Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble 4. Bub and Bob, dog. That's their name. Right. Bub and Bob. Dragon's name, Bub and Bob.
Trash.
Oh nah. Bubble Bobble is vicious. It's vicious. I've never played it.
Yeah. I was like, all right, whatever. On to the next thing. Let's keep going.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The next thing was Avengers.
I actually skipped through it just because I know I'm gonna sit and like now that I have it, I'm gonna sit and actually play it. So like I can just sit down and play and see it for myself. I didn't need to watch it, but I mean, you can talk to the people about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, probably the thing I think that stood out the most for me from that, obviously, other than what you remember, Marcus, Bubble Bobble. You too young.
Exactly.
You gotta be remembering like Bubble Bobble 3 or something like that. Like
Lil Houston.
It's no way you remember the actual Bubble Bobble, dog. I mean, maybe, but you was playing somebody's old NES, dog. Like, yeah, like that's the only way, dog. Yeah. So I think the fact that obviously, okay. So the major upgrade came out today. I downloaded it. I'm a little upset. The upgrade for that joint pushed that joint up to 106 gigs.
I got mine downloading while we're doing this right now. I didn't want to, but when you sent us that screenshot of how massive it was, like, God, y'all gonna take up space, and I don't.
That's why I left the jump. I left it on the box straight up, and so I would just have to do the actual XS update when it dropped. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not enthused about the amount of space taken. What I will say is that joint looks pretty good. That thing looks pretty good, man. Like I'm not. Okay. I would be lying if I said it didn't look really good. Definitely the load times are way better because the load times are ridiculous.
Well, that's good to know.
I haven't tried to get on an elevator yet, but
because man, just trying to get in the game was horrendous. Like you just
looking at those, still a little tricky, but
you just looking at them beautiful pictures of them with the camera spinning around them for like 15 minutes, like just
yeah. So obviously, like we haven't jumped in and played together, so I haven't jumped into a game with anybody else and tried to see what kind of time frame that takes. There are a couple of decent updates. One of the things they did was they made the harm rooms customizable now, and But like you don't get any, like if you customize one, you get no XP for it. You get like you can't. I mean, whatever.
You just customize it, but
I mean,
no real extra.
That's good. That's good for the future if you're going in and trying to do like specific moves or whatever to like build up your character. You know, you get your dailies like perform this specific move on 35
I don't
enemies.
even know if that'll count. Like again, you don't get any XP for it. You don't get. It
those
feels
count.
like everything's turned off.
Those count because that's how I was going in and do some of them. I just go into the harm room and just
right in the regular harm room. We're talking about the customizable harm rooms.
Can't do nothing.
Yeah, because the regular harm rooms, you could go into the regular harm rooms and you could get XP and stuff like that. Originally, you can't in the customizable harm rooms. So, yeah, it's a little tricky. But I mean, again, when they're already trying to make the game harder to level.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest issues I have with it. So while I'm gonna check it out and see what they're talking about, I may even finish playing through Hawkeye's story. After that, I'm probably on straight hiatus until War for Wakanda comes out. So that's the other big thing that came out of it was that they announced War for Wakanda, so Black Panther coming. So I'm gonna run through. They did do a content roadmap. So Operation Hawkeye's March. Obviously, spring, we're getting this Tachyon anomaly. So it says play as any combination of your favorite heroes. Tachyon missions are scaled for power levels 1 to 100. Then they're doing something called the Red Room Takeover. So enter the Red Room with new themed harm room content and new hero outfits. It says that additional content and features will include Omega level threat missions, multiplayer mega hives, which again, the fact that the mega hives were not multiplayer the first go round, so stupid. Post level 50 progression, and outfits inspired by the MCU are coming, and then ongoing improvements including balance tuning, gear and progression, collectible comic system, and matchmaking. The summer and beyond, it says the first event is the Cosmic Cube. So new scientist supreme villain sector, and confront the unlocked power of the Cosmic Cube. The second part of that is Wasteland and Wasteland Patrol. So new Warzone mission type patrol mode and new war zones and assignments within the Wasteland region, and then War for Wakanda. So when War for Wakanda comes, obviously Black Panther, who looked dope, like
he does.
It's only like a 50-second trailer, but my man was looking like a prop.
He looked good, yeah. Actually,
so
I was gonna say all that stuff that you mentioned that they're continuing to roll out, upgrade, and keep doing. Like I like it. Like it's y'all are sticking with it and working heavily to get it to where you want it to be, and you're reaching out to the people and showing them with your war tables, all the time and stuff like that. I appreciate that from them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do. I mean, listen, the promise that they made with this game was that all the additional content that was going to come out was going to be free, which again, I applaud them for doing that and sticking with it because the game actually did sell pretty well. I'm positive it didn't quite do what they wanted it to.
Yes.
That's because it was broken. And
absolutely.
I feel like they broke it more. We know that the Wakanda Black Panther stuff was actually supposed to have come out already. I actually think it was supposed to be the first
thing. I agree.
But all the issues with the game
because of Chadwick passing away,
and that
is why they ended up. It was supposed to happen, I guess, around that time, and so they ended up pushing it back. So, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman,
absolutely for
sure.
It's cool to give time to get bugs and issues and things that people who are actually still playing about and complain about, get it fixed before you drop the Wakanda context. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of people come back for Black Panther.
Upset if that jump broke.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, once the War for Wakanda comes out, it says obviously you get Black Panther, their new hero outfits. The power level cap increases at that point. New villains, including Claw. New Claw faction enemies, new story, new Wakanda jungle biome, and a new outpost. And then, of course, in the corner, in very, very tiny writing, it says this roadmap may change and does not include all in-progress work. So, I mean, obviously, with things being the way they are, things are going to change. You know what I mean? It is what it is. All right, so that's Avengers. Battle in Wonderworld. We're gonna skip garbage.
Thank you.
We're not even.
No, just keep on
Not a
going.
cup of tea.
Just
Go
keep
ahead.
on going.
Life is Strange True Colors. Man, listen, Life is Strange. Have y'all played through any of the Life is Strange?
Nope.
Here's what I was thinking when I was watching it. I grew up on Square. I'm a big Final Fantasy person, like one of my favorite companies. I've not touched this, but I was looking at the trailer for it, everything they were showing for it. I think I've made that decision. You know what? I'm just gonna go back and see what these Life is Strange things are talking about, and just dive into the first one and just it's been around for a little minute now. They keep making them, so let me see what they're talking about at this point. So
Agreed.
Yeah, the games don't. If you're not really paying attention, you wouldn't know that there's anything supernatural going on with those games. The first ones were episodic. I think there's 4 episodes in the first one and 5 in the second one.
Something like that.
They did the captain. What is the boy's name, man? I can't think of it.
I know. I can't think. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it either.
But it was kind of like a one-off
Yeah.
side game that led into Life is Strange 2.
Mm-hmm.
For this one, they are going away from the episodic content and doing it as one release.
Whole game. Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be interesting. The last ones came to Xbox. The last one was in Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
and they just updated it every time a new episode came out. So you really could just play through it. And I think it's still in Game Pass.
Let's see right
So, really, really good, solid stories. Again, more along the lines of like the Walking Dead, Telltale games, Telltale games, than anything else.
Yeah, it's heavily story driven. It's not like
it's
extremely
like story driven.
Right, not like an action title and all that type of stuff. It's
exactly
story driven game, right?
No,
but
looks
they
like they
touch
took
on
Jim Jones out.
Okay.
My man's heartbroken. Did you hear that? He was so sad when he said it. He was so sad.
Oh.
Listen, totally worth it though. Like you should grab them and play through them. They're very, very poignant stories. While there certainly is an element there that is supernatural, they are about very, very human things, very human issues. This one focuses on emotion, and the main character in this one has an ability to read other people's emotions.
Oh, $4. That ain't bad.
Yeah, like they're solid and they're worth it. So I would recommend jumping in. That comes out September 10th.
Okay.
For that joint. And then Luminous Productions was how they closed out the show, which this was probably supposed to be a bigger deal than it felt like it was. So Project Athia was the game that was used to showcase Unreal Engine 5 last year, and people weren't even sure if it was a real game or not. But it was known that had to do with Square, and it was known that Unreal had done a marketing deal with PlayStation at that time. So then eventually it was revealed that yes, the game is an actual game. It is actually something real. It wasn't just like a demo.
Show
Yes,
off.
technically what they showed was a demo, but like it was, you know what I mean?
It's actually a real thing in production.
Yeah. So they brought out the actress who is voicing and doing the motion capture for the main character in the game. And then they showed a trailer and they gave its name, which is Forspoken. Listen,
I like it.
The joint looks dope. It's like the movement alone in that game. Any game that has great, like just physics, like movement
type of thing.
Yeah, it looks
right.
That little bit they showed looks great.
Yeah.
So right off the break, I got like Attack on Titan vibes with the way that when the character was moving, kind of like almost using the maneuver system in the gear and everything. It looked pretty cool.
I dig it. Yeah, I mean,
I had straight Final Fantasy vibes with it.
There's a little bit of that. I don't have a whole lot. I got to look into Luminous Productions. I'm sure they've done other stuff. I don't really know what their track record is. I'd have to look back and see what else they've done to know where my actual excitement level should be.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying on this? Because when you say Luminous Productions, like it doesn't do anything for me. Like, oh snap! Like, yes, the game is pretty. I know Square Enix is behind it, but they're not developing it. They're publishing it. So, I do want to get a little background on that, but that's here nor there at the moment. Let's rap about PlayStation Play at Home. Did y'all see this?
I
This
did
one I
not.
did not see.
Did both of y'all say no?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But they've done this. Did they do this earlier in the pandemic, if I recall? Something similar to it? They did?
They did it like a year ago.
Okay, yes, okay.
They did it like a year ago. Made Ratchet and Clank available for people to download and play. It was, it's supposed to be their way of trying to encourage people to stay home, during the pandemic. Stay home, play these games or whatever. So they gave a few games away. Yeah, so they gave away Ratchet and Clank and they gave away several indie games. So they're doing that again.
Okay.
Basically what they're doing is they are making Horizon Zero Dawn.
I did see that. That's what this is. Okay.
So I think the big thing about this is that this is not something that's tied to PlayStation Plus. You know what I mean? There are always free PlayStation Plus games and stuff like that or whatever that come out. This is not tied to PlayStation Plus. This is just like, if you have a PlayStation, you can download these games, you can play them. Right. So there's a bunch of indie games that also hit. It's going to start on April 19th. Ratchet and Clank was last month, and I believe you can still go in and download Ratchet and Clank if you have not done so already.
I paid for it, so
the 8 indie games are. I will never pay for a Ratchet.
Hey, that's me. That's my dream.
I know.
That's me.
I know. How'd you like it? You finished it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed the Ratchet and Clank games.
Did you platinum that joint?
No, I haven't platinum.
Yeah, that joint ain't no Spider-Man in, man. Go ahead and
I don't care about trophies when I'm playing games. I don't care about trophies or achievements anymore. I just play the game.
Yeah, I bet. So Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, Res Infinite, Subnautica, The Witness, are all games you'll be able to just download and play. They're all solid games. Mm-hmm. Some are or have been in Game Pass already. They're pretty solid titles though. These 4 I think are a little bit more important. Astrobot Rescue Mission, Moss, Thumper, and Paper Beast, which are all PSVR games. So you need PSVR to be able to play them.
But that's still dope, giving something to the VR, the people who have purchased the PSVR. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, because if I remember, what they had stopped doing PSVR games with PlayStation Plus, and they had stopped doing Vita games with PlayStation Plus, which definitely makes sense because Vita is
dead.
But you just came out a couple of weeks ago and said there's a new PSVR, and you basically made this statement that like you're behind it and you're still doing stuff with it. So, and PlayStation VR works on PlayStation 5, right? So it's really the only thing that you can kind of cross over in that way. These games are supposed to be playable regardless of which system you have. If you have PS5 or PS4, you can play both. But either encouraging people to still go out and possibly purchase a PSVR, even if you have a PS5, as opposed to waiting, or at least encouraging people to go in and download the games in case they want to use them with the new PSVR if they work. I'm a assume it'll be real disgusting.
They said nah.
If they're not backwards compatible,
VR is not backwards compatible with old PlayStation VR games. It will be extremely disgusting.
And they dropped what the new controllers are like for PSVR too. PS5 VR.
Yeah, but you know what? Until they show me what the whole headset looks like and what it's actually going to do, I don't even.
Controllers ain't nothing really. It's like
Let me get that whole hole.
I get you. I do like how the controllers look though. From having one and playing one, like okay, yeah, y'all kind of got it right with these new ones.
Having a P, I thought you don't have. Y'all thought you didn't have.
No, I mean, but just having like an Oculus, like those type of controllers.
Yeah, I mean, they better be. Right. They better be like because the real thing is that like Oculus gonna keep coming for their head.
Because those
really untethered
things
are gonna keep coming for their head over and over again. So, yeah, man. So look, Game Pass has been on a little bit of a run, shooting for the stars. Why are you making that face, man?
You think?
I really do. I really do.
Just saying.
Bro. So they announced yesterday that today EA Play was coming to Game Pass PC. Ultimate PC, let's not. And I think this is probably one of the things that we haven't really talked about because we don't really do a lot of PC gaming. So even though we have Game Pass Ultimate and it does allow us to play games on PC, the PC community has been up in arms and feeling like a redheaded stepchild when it comes to Game Pass because a lot of the announcements that are made don't really specifically affect them. If you're just a PC player, if you don't have an Xbox console and you have Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate,
Funny
you know,
how the tides have turned. Just saying.
Well, sure.
I'm just saying. Yes, that's a shot to my PC community.
Stop whining.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Y'all have been, as y'all put it, the superior race and yada all that kind of crap. You know, PC is king.
Y'all had your time.
All these years.
Stuff.
Console is here.
But you know what? Here's the thing about that. So I was really actually thinking about that the other day. I was driving home, and you know, as a, I have thought about the fact that having Game Pass Ultimate means I have access to these games on PC, and there are games on PC that aren't available on console. Like I've been playing, like Grease is available on PC. I played that a little bit. I played oh shoot. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now.
What up, Heather?
Hotline Miami.
Okay.
You know, I played a little bit of that. Like there are some games that are available there that aren't available on console. Then I don't, you know, look, I don't know exactly how those deals are done, right? Like, you know, obviously that's something that they have to work out with whomever it is that publishes the title, you know what I mean, or the developer of the title. So it's going to be that way sometimes, but, you know, you can't always, get everything where you want it. What I will say is that the fact that the cost is the same, right? Whether you have one or the other. If you're on PC and you don't have a console, while Game Pass does make it look really good, if you're paying, I think it's $5 cheaper. And I think the reason for that is because if you're on PC, you don't have to pay to be online.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't need that.
That's part of what the problem is. So the question on whether or not the price of Game Pass changes to reflect that, you know, we'll have to see. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. Give me a second. Let's check this. So, if in fact you're on the PC and you are feeling some kind of way, please bear in mind you don't pay to play online. That's where I'm on that. Right? If you're on console, you're paying more than you're paying to play online. And you don't have to worry about the same thing console does. Console is still in a fight going, I don't really think we should have to pay to play online anymore. And some of those things are changing, right? Because we saw what happened when they increased the price of gold.
Woo!
And they got disgusting pushback, and it was like, all right, we're not gonna make you pay for Fortnite anymore. You know what I mean? To play online if you want to play Fortnite here. If you want to, you know what I mean? Like it just made it so that a lot of the things that they were talking about just didn't align. You have to bring those things in the line. So, you know, I think adding EA Play will give the PC some parity with the console version of Game Pass. I'm positive they would like for cloud to have that same parity, but that's harder to do. And realistically, I think it'll all be the same. I shouldn't say sooner than later, but later. You know what I mean? Like I think at some point it'll be the same. On that note, though, with them getting EA Play, that adds like 60 titles, like immediately. And having all that EA stuff is definitely a big deal. But Game Pass, excuse me, just added a bunch of stuff to PC that either isn't or wasn't available on console, or is available on console already and now is coming to PC. So in the next month, you have Outriders, cloud and console. Undertale, cloud, console, and PC. Undertale is live now. Yakuza 6, cloud, console, and PC. Narita Boy, cloud, console, and PC. Empire Sin, which went live today. I started playing that earlier. Cloud, console, and PC. Star Wars Squadrons, console. Which wasn't available even though EA Play. But now it's part of Game Pass. Here's one of the big, well, you know what? I'm gonna say that for last. So Genesis Noir, console and PC. Nier Automata, PC. Torchlight 3, PC. Deadfire, PC. And Superland, PC. Those 4 titles, just PC. Now let's talk about Octopath Traveler. All right, Sin, you talk about it.
I mean, just it's coming to Game Pass. Like, who's didn't see that coming? It was a Switch exclusive, and
completely
now,
left field.
Yeah, and now it's coming to Game Pass. Like you said at the start of this. Look, Game Pass is just keeps winning, man. Like it's the gift that keeps on giving right now.
Bro, they're swinging for the fences.
Yeah, I bought it on the Switch, and I probably touched it once just to kind of look at it and check it out. I mean, it's still gonna keep its home there when I'm on the go. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna grab it on Game Pass because it's there.
Yep, on the box.
I considered it on the Switch. I really did, because I was like, this I'll put on the TV and I'll play it. But nah. And then I thought about it. I thought about it because it's on PC. It's on Stadia.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's Stadia. So you didn't really think about it. You was like, hey. Okay.
Oh, wait.
we don't
No.
We don't know what you were doing.
But yeah, so here's the thing.
KB said
what is happening?
They enjoyed Octopath.
Oh, listen.
I've heard great things about Octopath Traveler.
I totally believe you. What I will tell you is that if you played it on the go, that's cool. I won't play on the go anyway. It's one of the reasons why Switch doesn't really matter to me. I just don't. There's nowhere, no place, no time for me to play games on the go. So on console, on the TV,
different story.
At no additional cost, bro. It's like,
that's the kicker.
I have something to do. Yeah. So here's the thing. There's something brewing here. Now, Octopath is a Square Enix title.
I'm with you, KB. That's what I do.
Yeah, nah. And listen, and you should play your Switch on the TV. But if you can get the same game on the Switch as you can on any other console, you get it on any other console. That's just like what, why would you play it on the Switch on your TV if it's available in
Game Pass?
Places? Yeah,
and the fact that it may be
like if you telling me right now, if you don't play a Switch on the go, and the same game gets announced for the Switch, the PlayStation, and the Xbox, you're gonna buy it on Switch? What's something wrong with you?
Right now, I would get everything on the console just because everything's shut down. You're kind of stuck in the house. That's still stuff still kind of going on. But if things ever got back to some sort of normalcy and you're moving and shaking and kind of doing things like that on a normal basis, then certain games I would definitely get on my Switch over the Xbox or the PlayStation because I take my Switch with me when I go places.
But it don't really matter now because if they decide to put that on the cloud, you just go ahead and pull your phone out, pop your controller on that joint.
You are 100% correct. But I've already paid for a Switch, so I'm gonna make it worth it.
I paid for a Switch too. I'm still gonna play the show on my Switch because you know what? I actually went ahead. Hey, I actually upgraded the phone. I did go and do it. I did go and do it.
Terrible.
Realistically, you should have upgraded to an Android. Realistically, if you're playing a game on the Switch that is also, first of all, that doesn't really happen. Let's start with being real about this, okay?
Yeah.
that doesn't really happen. And part of the reason why it doesn't happen is because the Switch can't really do what these consoles do, especially not now. Not now that the new joints are out anyway. But if you were talking about like, you know, if they had managed to get The Witcher 3 on Switch and console on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox at the same time, you would have got it on the Switch instead.
No. There's certain games like
exactly.
Like, see, Octopath Traveler, I'm cool with. Like, that's a little 16-bit kind of looking game or whatever. It came out over there first. Like,
cool. You talking about indie bops.
Or stuff that came out over there first. Like, what's the joint I really like over there? Astral Chain. Like, if that ever somehow came out on everything else, they finally decided to put on everything else, cool. But I would, still play it over there because... If
it had happened at the same time, you mean?
Yeah.
If Astral Chain had been announced for everything, you would pick it up on the Switch.
Most likely, yeah, just so I can move and shake with it and still play it on TV.
Bro, you can move and shake at home. I don't want to see you do it, but I know what your TikTok look like. You can move and shake at home.
It ain't no moving and shaking, not for me.
Yeah, KB, exclusives only on Switch. And listen, I mean, realistically, that's how I treat my PlayStation. It's just for the exclusives. You know what I mean? And there are people who treat the Xbox the same way. You know what I mean? Switch does have terrible network connectivity. You are absolutely right.
That's why it's not for that.
And Switch on Wi-Fi ain't really the move. So again, it depends on what kind of game it is. See, the thing is, right now with them trying to put bigger games on the Switch, a lot of them they're having to do. You have to play them over Wi-Fi. You're basically you have a portion of the game that's on the disc, on the card,
right?
And you have to download it. You know what I mean? To play like Control. Like Control is on the Switch. I would never. But I mean, if it's on, you got it. It is what it is. But I'm not. Yeah, that's not really a thing. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever need the Joy-Cons again. I think the Joy-Cons are a done thing. I think they're done with that. Specifically because the Switch Lite is a thing. And if you're making games for the Switch, specifically for the Switch, you immediately are chopping your base, because there are people who just ain't gonna be able to play your games if you add in Joy-Con functionality. So by making the Switch Lite alone, Nintendo basically killed the Joy-Cons. Which is a whole other thing. We'll see what happens when this Super Nintendo Switch comes out, or what they call it. It's coming. I'm positive it's coming. What it's going to be exactly
gray and purple.
You said make it purple.
Just make it gray and purple like a Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
That's all I ask with it. I would pre-order it day one.
That would be a special edition.
I would pre-order it day one if they just do that.
Nah, it's gonna be that.
Bro, you're gonna pre-order it regardless.
Not necessarily. I'm gonna get it regardless. Pre-ordering is a different thing.
Sure. All right, sure. Whatever. It's the same thing. You gonna buy it regardless.
Regardless, yes, it will be home. Yes, it will come home.
Yeah. I mean, you gonna get it.
But the urgency as to which I need to have it determines if they make it that.
Yeah, because you know as well as I do that if they make that joint look like a Super Nintendo, that joint's gonna sell out immediately.
Facts.
A new Switch is gonna sell out immediately anyway.
Either way.
Scalper's gonna be on that, bro.
Oh, don't remind
Scalper's gonna scalp, bro.
They suck.
People stop buying from them. Nintendo
does weird-ish. They made a Wii. Most people play with a Pro Controller. Nah. Listen, here's the thing. The Wii had a Pro Controller, but you were not ever locked into the Pro Controller with the Wii. As a matter of fact, that last Zelda game they put out on the Wii, which only had motion controls, they had to find a way. Like, it was thought that they were never going to be able to take that game and move it to another console ever and charge you again for it, because it seemed like it was stuck on that console. But they built games around the functionality of what the Wii remotes could actually do. There were games that they did the exact same thing with on the Wii U that made use of the tablet function and motion function that were basically stuck there. So yes, Nintendo does weird things, but they don't generally lock you out of being able to play games by themselves changing the controller. Your ability to use a Pro controller didn't keep you from being able to play games with the Wii remotes. But if you have a Switch Lite, there are games you just can't play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just, there are just immediately games you just cannot play. You can buy them, but you can't play them.
Don't do that. And the console will
saying?
tell you as soon as you pop that joint in there, it's like this joint is not compatible with your Switch Lite.
Having it look on the back of the box, which most people don't see the back of a box anymore because everything's digital, to see what controllers work and what controllers don't is a disgusting thing these days. Like that's not a thing that should happen anymore. And it is novel. The idea of being able to remove a controller so that you can share it, so that more than one person can play on the one console you have, was brilliant at the time, except Joy-Cons are disgustingly tiny.
Gosh, they are.
They're disgustingly tiny.
When they first announced the Switch, like, yes, the concept of it, like, there you go, give your friends, turn aside, play. It looked great, but until you actually have one in your hands, that thing's like the size of a Tootsie Roll. It is so
small.
small.
Those people, they had demo and had them small hands, so it looks like it was.
I cannot.
I'm right there too.
It does not work for me.
Pro controller.
Yeah, I mean,
day.
like I know people who lost the little pieces that you slide onto the top of the Joy-Cons when you take them out, so that you had a little extra grip at the top for
it
your
helps, but it's still not enough.
Them Jones stayed in the box. I didn't even buy because I knew if I took them Jones out,
they lose them. Yeah, they sit in the carrying case I bought for it. I don't even take them out. Like they just sit there.
It's that. Yeah, Joy-Cons were a very smart idea in terms of making a how can you not break them? I mean, those things is almost like maybe, just maybe, they weren't made for you. Maybe, just maybe, they actually still had children in mind with small hands, just like they did when they put out the Game Boy Advanced SP. When they put out the clamshell. You know what I mean? Like those 3DS, an original 3DS, man. Again, those buttons, they're still really, really close together. They feel pretty disgusting. Lack of a real D-pad. Like it's just it's.
And I'm sitting just looking at it right now, like look how tiny those buttons are.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's almost like all your fingers are pinkies. It's so dumb. It's
like.
And then they started trying to put fighting games on the Switch. That was disgusting. They put fighters on the Switch, and I tried to play. I tried to play fighters on the Switch with the Joy-Cons, and that is the worst thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Like my hands are touching each other trying to use this thing.
I mean, they are like, yeah. It's. I don't think. It's not a good look, bro. You know what I mean? Like the Joy-Cons are just not a good look. It's a smart play on them. People want all the colors and all that kind of stuff, man. People love to, collect Nintendo stuff, but like realistically, it's just not. It's not good for playing, really.
Nope. Invest in a Pro controller.
But it's not, I guess, worse than. I mean, people play so many games on their phone, and touch controls are probably just as bad. It's one of the reasons why I also don't play on phones.
I can't. Can't do the touch controls.
So, I mean, again, they're gonna have to come up with something, right? Some other way for you to be able to play. And I hope that that's what they do with whatever this new Switch is that comes out. I do think this Octopath thing might be leading somewhere else. It's a little tricky, but I have a feeling that we're going to end up seeing Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3 released on the Xbox, not the Game Pass.
As long as I get it, I'll be happy.
That's what I think is happening. We haven't heard anything about 3 in so long. I don't want to play Bayonetta on a Switch. I don't want to do it.
On the Switch.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it with Joy-Cons. I don't even really want to do it with a Pro controller. I don't want to do it with lesser imaging and graphics or whatever. So I really think that part of what they're doing is that they're not talking about it because they want to release it in an enhanced version that deserves to be seen the way it should be seen and played on a newer console. That's what I think is happening. I think they're getting ready to announce an update for the they need to announce an update for the Switch. But it wouldn't surprise me, right? We got the Bayonetta. They released that. Sega released that Bayonetta. It was like a combination game. What's that game? You keep sliding.
Oh, it was Vanquish and Bayonetta.
Vanquish.
Yeah.
They released those. They came to other consoles, right?
Yeah.
Which to me was a little
Vanquish
strange
was
because of the situation that Bayonetta 2 was in. Nintendo published it for Sega, and that's how it happened. They're supposed to be doing 3, but somewhere between the deals that have been being worked out with Sega and Game Pass, and them saying they want to bring more stuff to Game Pass. And considering that Microsoft already has built a relationship by taking games that they publish and publishing them on the Switch, like a Cuphead or an Ori, twice over, I could see, of all the things that we would think, could possibly, there are plenty of games you would never expect to end up on somebody else's console because they have Nintendo's characters in them, but Bayonetta is not one of their characters.
That's not one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the idea of Nintendo publishing a game for Sega that ends up coming to other consoles, especially and or including the Xbox, and going to Game Pass, not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
And that's a big deal. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened that way. So a couple other quick things. So Jay Raymond opened up a new studio. Did y'all see that?
Didn't see that.
You did not see that.
I did see that.
So Jay Raymond has a new studio called Haven. So just shortly after leaving, we're gonna say she left Stadia because I guess they would have offered her an option to stay. But if you're gonna shut down her entire studio,
yeah,
what are you staying for?
Mm-hmm.
So PlayStation Blog made an announcement. And so she's heading up a new studio, and they are going to be creating an original game or original games for PlayStation. Now, they are not owned by PlayStation. PlayStation is putting money behind them. This is kind of like Kojima
Okay.
leaving Konami, forming his own studio, and then doing a deal, to get Death Stranding out.
Right.
Sony basically is heading that up. This is interesting to me just because, as in tune with what's going on in gaming as I am, Jade Raymond's name does mean something to me. I don't know that it means much to people. She's not Kojima. She's well known for being involved in the original Assassin's Creed. Couple other games at Ubisoft, but almost everything else that she's touched has either gotten canceled or fallen by the wayside or, has turned into vaporware in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to say over the better part of the last decade. Jeez. So while I'm excited to see what she can do, and I was excited for her to be at Stadia because I figured, Google got all kinds of money. You know what I mean? They might just let her
just go crazy. Yeah.
It's the wallet. Go for it.
Well, clearly that's not. That wasn't the move for them. And I know that she is bringing people who were at other studios with her. Yeah, it just it's tricky, man. I think it's great that she is making moves, and I really do hope that whatever she does lands well at PlayStation and is a big deal. But we'll have to see. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, think just keep an eye on the situation. Let's just see, what happens in the future. I'm not too familiar with her as you are, but you go off and start your own studio, and Sony's backing you. Makes you want to, okay, what you got coming? There's people out there who believe in what you can do and what you're putting out there. So I'm ready to see what she does with it. So that's it.
100%. Jokes? Any thoughts on that?
Same thing.
That works. All right, let's talk about this Evo acquisition for Sony. Did y'all get a chance to really read into this?
I
No.
saw it.
I saw a blip, but I was in anime world at the time, so I didn't look too much into it.
They haven't shared what they spent to do it, and basically they announced that the acquisition was happening. It's not just Sony. First, let me start by saying that Sony just did not outright buy Evo. There's another company.
And before you get a little into this, explain to the people what Evo is.
I'll get to that. Cool. I got it. Cool. I got it. Cool. So them and another company called RTS, which is a new company. Sony and RTS together acquired Evo. And it's going to be interesting to see what exactly that means. RTS is a new company. So I don't really know anything about them. Right. Haven't heard anything about them at all. What we do know is that Evo is one of the biggest names in gaming, just in the fighting game community. More or less, it is the largest fighting game tournament that exists, and it's been around since like 95, 96. So what exactly is going to happen with it, I don't know. I know that there is supposed to be a new. Give me a second. Let me see if it says. I think there's another.
I'm pretty sure in all the Evo tournaments, everybody will be playing on PS5s in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that some of this is coming out of what they've seen with the strength of Street Fighter V being only on PlayStation consoles outside of being on PC. But there is also an extremely, extremely strong fighting game community for games like Guilty Gear. But those games are also generally only on Sony's consoles. So, while for a long time, Xbox or PC was the place of choice for gaming tournaments that were first-person shooters, fighting games, and most people play with fight sticks and not controllers. If you're a serious tournament player, you don't play with a controller anyway. You play with a fight stick. But
if I see fight sticks, I start running. Like I was like, nope, don't want to play this person.
Yeah, but
curious.
But playing on Sony's consoles or on PC has really been the way to play, because most of those games, you know, the ones that actually show up in Evo tend to be played on Sony consoles. So it kind of makes sense for them to have a larger stake in it. And I would imagine that Evo's had some struggles, especially throughout the last year, because they haven't really been able to put on any tournaments. There have been a lot of fights within the fighting community. So,
so bad.
Run it back, Gage. Let's do it this way. There's been a lot of discourse within the fighting game community with certain fighting game developers over things like Rollback Netcode. And again, if you don't follow fighting games or the tournament scene or the online tournament scene, Rollback Netcode is code that is implemented in fighting games to allow much faster reaction times. It cuts down on the amount of delay between your actual inputs and what happens on screen, which is super important when you're being forced to run tournaments online. So games that have Rollback Netcode are the ones that end up in tournaments. They get a lot more play. People see it a lot more. They end up making a lot more money because people buy them, because that's what they see people playing. As a matter of fact, there's been controversy relatively recently because people have gone in and modded fighting games and added rollback netcode. And developers and publishers have gone in and been like, nope, you can't do this. You know what I mean? And force it out. And it's been an issue. No loading snacks beats product placement. You know, we'll get there, man. You work on that for us. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get there. I don't have another new episode to show you. The last one went live on Tuesday. I mean, I guess we could show it to you. It's,
technically we could. I mean,
we could show it to you. Yeah, you know, you might as well load that up. Since you played that, you might as well load it up.
Cool.
So yeah, so the Evo community has really thrived on live tournament on the live tournament scene, and I'm positive that last year has had a very negative impact on them. So it was probably better in the long run for somebody to step in and put some money into it.
Put some money behind it.
Yeah.
The idea that there's somebody in it besides Sony probably will just help keep things a bit more impartial. Because I'm sure there are at least 20 people who want to play Killer Instinct or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Smash Brothers, you know.
Yeah, Smash Brothers for sure. You know what I mean? Like if Smash Brothers is probably the biggest other game that's there. Outside of like Guilty Gears and Mortal Kombat, right? So
imagine if they told Evo that like Smash Brothers would be removed from the term.
They'll be shooting themselves in the foot if they try that.
Is one of the games that they added rollback netcode to that Nintendo was like, no, sir. No, you may not. Because Nintendo gonna Nintendo.
Yeah, whatever. Nintendo, y'all not doing the online thing like y'all should, and look,
they know it. But
everybody's like, Nintendo, y'all know your online sucks.
That's they like their control.
Whether y'all like it or not, Evo keeps Smash in the ecosystem.
It does. Like, there's no two ways about it. But it does so in person. And with Evo being unavailable, people started looking for ways. You know what I mean?
I'm with you 100%. And since we're all social distancing and everything, and online gaming is at an all-time high, hey, look, I'm sorry, Nintendo. Like, you gotta. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
it just is what it is.
I mean, look on facts, right? Smash players are upset. They're gonna be upset. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not surprised that they're upset, because there's a fear, right, that they may be forced out or whatever. I think the fact that this other company, this RTS company, is involved, will keep Sony's hand from being able to
pull that
again. We don't know what they did. We don't know what percentage. Like, if you look at the you know, the unfortunate thing about the way that the media reports stuff and the way they kind of have to report stuff is that all of the headlines say Sony buys Evo. That's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's not what happened. Sony and another company nobody ever heard of bought. But we have no idea what the percentages is, right? Like, Sony may only put up 20%.
Yeah, it's like something
you know
small.
what I mean, or something like that. Like, we don't know what any of that is. We do know that they're saying that they're going to.
People just read the headlines and just jump the gun. That's all.
That's what it is.
That's what the headlines are there for.
Yep. Oh yeah, the headline makes you come in.
Headline like that. Like, if somebody wrote RTS buys Evo,
nobody would have cared.
Who's RTS?
But I guess what I'm saying is nobody actually clicks on the link and actually go look into it and read it.
No, they'll go into it if that title catches you. That's the whole point. That title gotta catch you.
They see Sony and then they start tweeting. Oh, Sony bought Evo. Wait, did you click on the link and actually take just a minute to look at the article?
I'm gonna read this little piece of what So VentureBeat posted an article. It says, so what does Sony need with a fighting game tournament? The company knows that fighting games are popular on its platform, specifying that players have logged in more than 1.1 billion hours on fighting games on PlayStation consoles in 2020.
That is fast.
But those are all third-party titles like Capcom Street Fighter V and Arc System Works Dragon Ball Fighters. Sony hasn't made a first-party fighting game since PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale in 2012.
Thinking about it, I own probably like 5 or 6.
Say that again.
I'm thinking about it. I think I own a good chunk, not even lying, of fighting games on my PlayStation 4 that I do play.
I wouldn't know.
On my fighting games.
I mean, again, that's like I said, like, the fighting games don't really exist on the Xbox platform.
Yeah.
Outside of Mortal Kombat, that's pretty much it. I mean, Fighters is there. You know what I mean? Says it's also an odd time to invest in esports due to the pandemic. In-person events have been canceled. So the shift is caused something of a lull in the growth of the sector, something that Activision Blizzard blamed this week for its decision to fire several people from its esports team, which is a whole other thing. And it looks like there's way more to it than that, because that team, when Activision Blizzard made that announcement, they said that and said that they had let go of like 50 people, and it turned out it was more like 130 people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot more to that. Not worth getting into right now. Evo ran into problems last year, aside from the pandemic. Then Evo CEO Joey. So, yeah, this was another thing. We did talk about this before. Joey, I don't even know how to say it. Let's go with Kualar. Let's go with that. Was named in multiple sexual abuse allegations. Evo's board removed him, and many publishers pulled out of the event, causing a cancellation of the show. Situation may have given Evo's owners a reason to want to sell and establish a new chapter for the event. Along with the announcement of the acquisition, Evo released a statement promising safer events. So one of the things that came out of that was that CEO was also, some of those sexual abuse allegations came out of tournament scenes, where people felt pressure and stuff like that, and that had to do with him. So let's read what the Evo message is. How about that? So Evo would not be possible without the collective passion and collaboration of the fighting game community, and we're deeply grateful for your dedication over the past 25 years. We know last year was challenging due to the pandemic and the circumstances surrounding the cancellation of Evo Online involving a former team member who has been completely separated from our company. We want to reaffirm that harassment or abuse of any kind has no place within Evo or any of our future events, and we're taking every precaution to make sure members of our community will always be treated with the respect, dignity, and decency you deserve. In order to deliver on the trust you have all put in Evo, we realize that we need an experienced strategic partner who truly respects the spirit of FGC. That's the fighting game community. This is why we're excited to announce that Evo has become part of the joint partnership of Sony Interactive Entertainment and RTS. The new partnership to bringing amazing tournaments and competitive gaming experiences back to you this year and beyond. We're thrilled to work with the teams at PlayStation RTS to bring you Evo 2021 online this August. More information on the event will follow. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your continued support, Tony and Tom Cannon. So now, here's what this says to me. Sony has gotten involved in this because it will be an online event. And because with it being an online event, it will be played across so many PlayStations, and it will get them so many eyes, and the fighting game community will be on them. It's a flex move. It really is. It's absolutely a flex move. So far, Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat 11, and Guilty Gear Strive have been revealed for the games for the event. Nintendo Smash Brothers series is usually part of the show. We'll have to see if a fighting game that you can't play on PlayStation will be welcomed at the event this year, or if Nintendo is even interested. Again, there were some issues with Rollback Netcode and all that kind of stuff, so we'll see what happens with Smash. Most of that Rollback Netcode was being used to enable older Smash Brothers games. We're not talking about
like Melee.
Yeah,
it
was for that, and it's like, dude, it's old, bro. Like, why are you mad? Let people.
Why are you mad, though?
Like,
you happy people still playing it, but it's like,
it's tricky. Okay, hey, listen, since you got that loaded up, let's go ahead and let's you know what I'm saying? Let's beat some beat down.
Let's check it out.
Let's pop the chat out for a second.
How is it being born to privilege?
I can't say. I've known nothing else.
Let me enlighten you.
Round one, fight.
is not your day.
Round 2. Fight. Fatality. Kitana wins.
Loading snacks.
Hey,
Yo.
Dig it.
Yeah. Yeah. So super duper happy to show y'all that.
yeah,
Y'all can still go make sure y'all check that out and get that joint some views.
Share it
we
as well.
Again, we still want that. We still want that feedback. Want to know what y'all want to see. What other kind of stuff y'all want. There's some more, being built up for you in the moment, for sure. It's time for us to wrap this up, folks. Jokes, you got a job to do.
Mm-hmm. Done.
You guys know the drilly. Hit that link. In the link tree, you can follow us across all social media. Make sure you check out our Patreon. It really helps if you can support us at all monetarily. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, which would be awesome. You are going to want to be a part of the Spoiler Boys,
I'm in back.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Woo boy, I'm gonna take a nap. So I got to get up early.
I gotta take a nap too. Yeah.
You definitely want to be a part of that. There is a new area in our MCU chat which you can get to from the link tree.
Remember, not this weekend. Next weekend.
What are you talking about?
Nah.
Trinidad. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Next weekend.
Yeah. My man said my snacks are ready too. He like, yeah, I'm ready already. I'm already ready.
I got mine too.
Yeah. So MCU chat, you can jump in there. You coming from here, we'll let you in, man. You want to be a part of that. We already have a separate section for spoilers for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think this is going to be a very, 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 very interesting ride. So y'all look for that. If you're not in Patreon, then you have to wait till Monday before you see that hit.
Mm-hmm. So get in on the ground floor. Get in.
You know what I'm saying?
Get in.
Woo, buddy.
You will not be disappointed.
Woo, buddy. We got a lot of other stuff that we're working on. There's an event April 10th, live and in person. I have some more details for y'all for that next week. But keep your eyes and ears open for that. See what we're doing there. Next week's shows are going to be a little bit different. I'll let y'all know what's going on. We'll do a couple posts and so forth. Me and the team will talk about it, but we got a couple things brewing. So next week's going to be a little bit different than what you normally see. You may have noticed this week we jumped in and did a couple of news blips, just kind of things that hit that we wanted to jump in and talk 15, 20 minutes and just kind of get those out there. Y'all let us know what y'all think about that kind of stuff. If you want to see us do more of it, we'll see how scheduling allows, but we'll try to do a few more things that will allow us to get to you all at the moment, a little more right away. Jokes, you got a wrestling event coming up?
Yeah, buddy. Next week, this is gonna be that wrestling wrap up, kind of just talking about everything that just went down this month, kind of leading off into next month, getting ready for the big show, WrestleMania in April. Tickets went on sale. I'm interested to see how this going. They're gonna have a big old stadium full of people. It looks like.
Okay.
You going?
Nope.
My man. My man. Sin, you got a little something planned, some anime antics. coming up.
Look. End of the month. I'll try to have the actual date finalized for everybody bi-weekly next week. But Anime Chat is going live. Me jokes, and we got some friends that's going to join us from the Anime Chat group
via satellite.
Look, we talking Attack on Titan, Black Clover, Promised Neverland, Jujutsu Kaisen, and hopefully in time for the season premiere of My Hero season 5. So if you're fans of any one of those shows, you know where to be.
If you just like anime, man, jump in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be.
If you're not already in Anime Chat,
there we go. Loving the blips.
Yeah,
it's like breaking news live. Hey, maybe when we go live, we gotta jump in. Like, hey, yo, breaking news! Like we gotta do a thing like.
Oh,
I dig it.
Trey, say caught up and ready. Sweet, I love it.
I dig it.
Can't wait to do it.
So yeah, so again, we're continuing to work on doing new things. I have a couple of guests lined up again for Women's History Month next week. So just make sure y'all are in tune for that. It's going to be pretty awesome, just like Kit was on Tuesday. We all tuning in, staying with us. Before we go, I'm going to leave with a very, 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 very simple message. Stop Asian hate. Stop hate, period. All right.
Fact.
We gotta do better as people. Let's support one another. Y'all already know what to do. If you see somebody in the chat, you see him on Twitch, you see him on Facebook, you see him, go follow each other. Let's build our communities up and so forth. Still planning on trying to set up some kind of a crazy raid day. Haven't exactly figured that out. And y'all keep your eyes open because our shirts should be going live shortly for our autism awareness charity.
Yeah.
So y'all get ready for that. A lot happening in the coming weeks and months.
And before we get out of here, let me shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dorch, and Tyrone Carson. We thank you all very, very much. We truly appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I was going to tell you to do it. I was going to give you a moment.
Okay.
I was going to give you a moment.
Okay.
He was like, no. He was like, he's going to forget. He's going to forget.
Just make sure we get in. Make sure I do my job.
My man. All right, y'all.
Fired today.
That's done. So with that, we're out. Toodles and loos.